We just saw what might be one of the most important Camino movies, not only this year, but in general. But the truth is, it's definitely not for everyone.
Yeah, we are in Italy right now, and this movie is already a record-breaking blockbuster.
The idea is we came here to Italy to spend the Christmas with Erica's family. There's nothing better than 30 people at the table and food from 11 till 11, right? Italian Christmas. But we decided to actually come and see what has become already a legend, a living legend, especially here in Italy.
Everyone is talking about it. It did,
Buen Camino, it's called, right?
yes, it did record numbers. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone went to the cinema to watch it.
So today we're gonna talk about this movie from two perspectives. First of all, from the pilgrim's perspective, right? Because we are pilgrims. We did more than 20 caminos all over the world. And we have something to say about that movie and all the critics. And obviously the second, from the filmmaking perspective, which also it's interesting subject to see. So by the end of this little conversation that we have, you will know, is this movie for you?
Should you watch it or no?
Should you actually go? Should you watch it before or after your Camino? All these questions will be answered on the end of this video, hopefully. So first questions of all, what's actually the plot of this movie?
So there is a rich and spoiled man, Italian man, who inherited all the fortune from his father, never working a day in his life.
Starts good, right?
Yeah. And he goes to Spain to look for his missing daughter, teenage daughter, who is walking the Camino de Santiago. So that's already a good start, right?
Sounds like a problem.
There is a perfect clash, yachts, servants, a lot of luxury, meeting, dorms, community meals, basic of the Camino. So the protagonist is the father and daughter and their relationship.
Well, I forgot to mention one really important thing, because there is no better person to talk about that special actor as Erica.
He's my favorite comedian. I grew up with him, and he's from my region, so I really understand where he's coming from.
And the second part, obviously, there is no better people to talk about the Italian movie as Italians. So just to justify the next 10 minutes we're gonna have with you guys. So in the panorama of all the Camino movies so far, the Camino de Santiago, the Buen Camino movie has a totally different role, right?
It's a different lens.
We had the way, my way. No, we had the way. First we had the way with Martin Sheen. And it was a kind of grief journey.
Redemption.
Redemption of Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen, no? This is not Charlie Sheen, just to make it clear. Then we had the way, my way, last year, right? And it was more of a silent, more tranquil journey of inner understanding.
Inner shift.
Inner shift thing. Australian production. And what is the Buen Camino like?
Buen Camino is a comedy. It's not a drama, it's a comedy. And it's forced growth. It's a forced growth because the man doesn't even want to be on Camino. He's forced to be there to improve the relationship with his daughter, to understand her better.
This already plants the seed of something which haven't been done before. How can you treat, or how can you present the Camino de Santiago as a comedy?
I was really skeptical. When I heard that Checco Zalone, which is the protagonist, was going to do a movie on Camino de Santiago, in my mind, I couldn't fit them together. How can you fit Camino de Santiago, which is a serious mother, with a comedian?
I think that every time that the new movie comes, we always kind of dread what's going to be, how it's going to present the Camino, because it's really easy to plant the wrong seed in people's heads.
Yeah.
But anyway, just a quick heads up for you. We prepared a PDF with all the
Camino movies
and Camino books, which you can actually download for free just from here, descriptions or the QR code, and enjoy.
So one question I want to ask you, or I want to ask us, what felt real in the movie?
I was really pleased to see there was a lots of rituals Camino, the Camino real situations happening inside of the movie. Because we had a sharing circles, which like, come on, this is the base of a real Camino experience with pilgrims can share it with each other, what's actually bringing them to the Camino.
I love the, well, sorry, keep going with the rituals.
Thank you. We had lots of landmarks which really make the Camino special with Cruz de Ferro. We had Puente de la Reina. We had so many places that you could relate to, but in the way as a pilgrim, right? What else we had?
I love there was a joke about overpacking because he decided to start the Camino, and another pilgrim told him, no, you need only to take the essentials, and he comes with a big backpack and a lot of shopping bag. He said, what are you doing? I just came with the essentials. If I need more, I will buy more, don't worry. So he's walking with these shopping bags on Alto del Perdón.
So they really felt real, they felt really happy.
I mean, it was a joke, but it's kind of real. It was exaggerated, but it's kind of real.
On the first day, especially on the first day. The other important aspect was how they presented the community itself, because there was a really important scene of the community dinner, right? When everyone stayed together.
And they were singing the rap song before the meals.
Yeah, super typical the Camino, right? Super typical.
On the Donativo.
On the Donativo.
Not on private albergues, but on Donativo, which are really basic albergues. The hospitaleros sing the song.
And here's where the Italian twist comes on, because on the movie itself, we're gonna spoil with you that scene. In Italy, they actually serve the pasta, And as a proud Italian, they say, what is this pasta,
Who cooked this?
Who cooked this? And it becomes the joke because the chef is actually Japanese.
Well, another pilgrim, it's not a chef. Another Japanese pilgrim cooked the Italian pasta. So it's...
But this is actually a good moment that you mentioned that this also shows that that's the community food where pilgrims care about each other, they cook for each other, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about what is actually nailed, what seems like a real Camino, but let's talk about what is not, what is exaggerated.
Or what's stereotyped, right?
Go for it.
So for me, what's exaggerated, stereotype, I didn't see any stereotype. But what's exaggerated for me is the character itself. You see the character arriving in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, where the daughter is starting, with a Ferrari. And that's a clash with the Camino simplicity. It's just to prove the point that how these two words really clashes together.
I like the idea the director took the first part of the movie, maybe 15-20 minutes, to establish the persona.
To build the character, no?
The character, so then you see like how it contrasts, how it shed the layers. I really liked it, and obviously it's super exaggerated. Are there any inconsistency according to Camino itself and the movie?
That's important to notice, because you see that they start in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, and then on the same day they finish in Pamplona, which you actually arrive on the fourth day. Fourth day. But it's a movie, it's not a documentary. And that's an important point to make, because many people who watched it say, no, it's not accurate. But it's a movie. So yeah, the stages are condensed.
I like when I will compare it to Titanic. Obviously, what happened in Titanic was not what happened in the movie in general, but it still shows and still transmits the story. And when you remember when they entered the square of Santiago de Compostela, it was a different entrance.
Yeah.
And we understand.
And everyone will say, but that's not the entrance.
But we understand.
We understand because we make videos. We know that the entrance, the real entrance, is not cinematic. It's dark. You have to go around to be in front of the church. So the choices they made, it's because of cinematic purposes. And also, many parts of the movies were not on Camino itself.
Yes.
There were some variants.
Some bridges which didn't exist, which happened, just proving the point. So from the filmmaker point of view, this aspect
It's understandable.
That's what it is. The post-production also has its magic, right?
Yeah.
By the way, tell us, what is your favorite Camino movie so far and why? Like, for example, The Way with Martin Sheen, but why is it special and important for you? Because maybe, I don't know, you felt like
You related somehow.
somehow. Just put it in the comments down below and let's share with the community. Let's see what other options and opinions are. We talked an overview of the video, who is it for and what are the consistency and inconsistency, and now concentrate on the main subject. Who is this movie for? Because it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not for everyone because Checco Zalone has a special humor. He's politically incorrect, he's on the edge, he makes fun of absolutely everyone. And that's why it's not for everyone. Because if you don't like that dark humor that he has, you can be offended.
Oh yes, easily.
We as Italian accept his jokes because it's him.
And because you are part of these jokes. Like he nails the understanding of Italian itself. He understands why you laugh. This is why you accept the joke, because he's based on the culture, which Italian jokes and Italian culture is different than the other culture. That's why it might feel a bit of
too much
for some people.
I think that people outside of Italy won't like this movie as much as we do. Because our humor can be too much. And it takes also taboos or things that no one jokes about, and he does it.
And he does it.
Also, he does a lot of wordplay jokes that I had to explain to Ricky, because even if he speaks Italian, he couldn't understand some jokes because either there was wordplay or they were a reference to Italian culture, which was really subtle.
Yeah.
So I think that thing with English subtitles or when the movie is being dubbed, they will be lost, a lot of those. So I'm not sure how people from other countries will see that. I'm curious if you watched it, if you don't speak Italian, how did you see it?
So as we've spoken about all the technicalities, let's talk about what actually the meaning of the movie is. What hits you the most?
What hit me the most is when, and my eyes were, you don't say my eyes were watering, no, the mouth is watering, my eyes is...
Leery. I don't know, but just make it up.
I was going to cry when the father and the daughter eventually start listening to each other at long last. And they weren't talking from a me perspective, but they were really trying to find a common ground. And that really hit me. And maybe I could relate, no? Somehow.
That was beautiful. It's beautiful of the communication is an important message. The empathy and the communication of this video, of this film, right? The other, what hits me the most is how community is important, because there were many moments that they were in doubt, they were in problem, they didn't want to continue, and the community was always around, like a Camino family, you know? They actually built the Camino family over there, and through this camaraderie, through putting people together in a difficult situation, they really transmitted the power of being together.
Also, another thing that I really loved is how they touched upon a really current topic, which is how young people feel lost nowadays. They have everything. Maybe I can put myself in it, no? Because we have everything, but somehow we are craving something deeper, which is not given by money. So you see this daughter who has everything because his father is dirty rich, but he doesn't want anything from him. He doesn't want that money. She wants to find herself. And she doesn't want, at some point she's fed up with the Camino and she doesn't want to continue. And the father says, no, you have to finish it. And he helps her to finish it, no? And
Let's not spoil the movie, eh?
No. And I like that. I like that how through the comedy they also touch upon this really important subject nowadays, because I think many young people will relate to that, or many of us for that matter. No?
I think another part which I really like is giving the space to religion as the context, obviously, is the context of Camino de Santiago, as the context of Italy itself, but they're giving space to religion and showing the spiritual part.
But the religion part also.
But the religion part also.
Which the other movies didn't do much, right?
No. Everyone just stay outside, just keep it safe, you know, because it's still religion in modern times. It's a complicated subject. So I really like that. I really like that it really doesn't. It really is not afraid of even getting into religion itself, which can. Let's be honest, seeing the statistics of any of those years of the Camino, which can really hold back many possible viewers.
Because they say, yeah, I'm not religious, or...
no dogma, which is fair play. Everyone has a place on the Camino, right?
From the filmmaker lens, what do we respect as creators?
Every time I know for certain that every time we do Camino, we try to squeeze 30-40 days of the spiritual journey into one movie.
20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, it's simply impossible. It like hats off to anyone who manages to...
Or even tries it.
We tried it so many times, we never actually could even release the entire movie about the Camino because it's simply difficult, you know? There's like difficult, logistically difficult.
Yeah, it's hard to condense, like you were saying, no? In a movie, the whole experience, the spirit, what the Camino truly is.
That's another part.
To a person who never walked it.
How to record the day by day thing, but then how to present it in a way that reaches inside, which is the spirit of the Camino. And they manage to put rituals,
the community,
the landmark. The landmarks were actually the easiest thing.
Yeah, and also the inner search, the inner pains of each person also, right?
True story. So, from filmmakers' point of view, hats off. So, what's the rating? Should you watch it or not?
I am biased, but I give this movie 10 out of 10. Because I love him.
11 out of 11.
Yeah, because I love him, I grew up with him. But like we said before, it's not for everyone. If you get offended easily by heavy jokes, if you don't have sense of humor, don't watch it.
I suppose that if you're watching Caminotellers, you're already used to sense of humor, the good one, right? But still, this sense of humor reaches even farther, reaches into more darker parts of humor, of human humor, which you have to put the invisible humor poncho on you when you go to the cinema, because it can be shocking. In the shocking aspect, there is a beauty, because you understand that you can laugh of everything. You can laugh even of the something as serious as Camino de Santiago. Why not?
Why not? Why are you taking life so seriously?
Why not? So, would I recommend it? Definitely, I would recommend it to everyone with invisible humor poncho.
And also, should you watch if you're going to walk Camino? Watch it if you walked it. Watch if you're gonna walk it. It's for everyone.
I love what they did. I love that they pressed into that little 2 hours, less than 10 hours, they pressed so many rituals and traditions of the Camino that are not as common anymore.
It's not that common anymore because people book private albergues. And those rituals you won't recognize because they are from basic albergue, the donativo. And I love that.
And this is beautiful. So if you go on the Camino, if you see your first Camino, if you won't see those things, it's because they still there, but in a different type of albergues.
Yes.
So I love it. But anyway, recommendations: go, take it lightly, enjoy the movie, enjoy the metaphor itself, and let us know what you think about it. Right?
Buen Camino.
Camino and Ultrea.